Good afternoon, and welcome to all of you in attendance here today with us, as well as everybody visiting us online via YouTube at home. Welcome to the February 2018 graduation from Guiding Eyes for the Blind. Let's have a big round of applause for Michelle Munier, who puts together lovely slideshows month after month. My name is Jolene Hollister, and I've had the pleasure of being the class supervisors for this group of students and talented instructors for the month. Without further ado, let's introduce you to the 13 teams graduating today. Starting with from Severna Park, Maryland, Amy Bishop and Rumor. And from Wheeling, Illinois, Nicole Yarmolkevich and Pat. Oh, I got a thumbs up. Great. We've been practicing that name all month. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Ken McKenzie and Elton. From Minneapolis, Minnesota, Deanna, Coach as we know her, Calendar, and Wendell. From Logan, Utah, Tina Reisner and Talent. From Roseville, Minnesota, Carlos Palomino and Treasure. From Sacramento, California, Andrew Smith and Nira. From Middletown, Connecticut, Nicole Rogers and Elvis. From Manchester, Connecticut, Dee Granby and Rudy. And from Alexandria, Virginia, Jessica Diaz and Milton. Also being recognized today, graduating from our special needs program. From Hayward, California, Angela Palmer and Raja. Home trained by special needs instructor Andrea Martini. Graduating from our home training program. From Old Forge, Pennsylvania, Chelsea Dupree and Finn were trained by Director of Home Training James Gardner. Last but certainly not least, today we recognize Jennifer Russell and Odette from San Diego, California, home trained by Assistant Director of Training Graham Buck. And also joining us in the room today, we have Heather Shea and her guide dog Asher, who came today to celebrate their graduation 1 year ago today. And at this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to our President and CEO, Tom Panic.
Thank you, Jolene. Everybody, welcome to Guiding Eyes for the Blind. Very, very grateful that you all came to celebrate this moment with us. I'd like to say that what we do here is a lot like the Olympics. And I'll tell you why. We have an opening ceremony where 3 weeks ago, graduates, we sat here in the room together and you were just learning the name of your dog for the very first time. You remember that? Yeah. That was what I like to call opening ceremony. And today, guess, this is closing ceremony. You are all gold medal winners. To get from opening to closing ceremony, it takes an incredible amount of work. The Olympic coaches, headed up by Jolene Hollister, make every single day here possible, starting with basic things like being en route on Colonial Street next door, all the way to the Super G, which is basically conquering Manhattan with your dog. And in between, you've got a lot of other Olympic events, going to White Plains, going to Katona, doing the night route, and all of those things take a great deal of skill and determination, the ability to learn from our mistakes. You all had, I'm sure, a couple of times where your footwork wasn't quite perfect, just like any Olympic athlete, and other times that you felt like you caught air and you just made it work. And it really is an incredible experience that's not possible without everyone here in the room today. Just like the Olympics, it takes donors, our supporters, people who put their money into our organization with the belief that a selfless act of kindness can make a difference in someone's life. The supporters, the families who raised these dogs to be the Olympic champions that they are. Jean Dragala's in the room, 27 puppies raised. And the trainers that make it all possible once the dogs come in here for IFT, that teach from very basic obedience all the way up to allowing a person with vision loss to be able to navigate safely through the world is an incredible feat, an incredible accomplishment. These are truly the very best dogs in the world. I'd like to say a couple of other things, but before I do that, I'd like to invite our newest member of the Guiding Eyes team to the podium with me today to make a special Olympic announcement. Now, if you're watching online, this is a sneak preview, so you could, I suppose, hit share on your news feed, but we would ask that you stop from doing that right now. You're just going to get a sneak peek into something that's about to be launched, and by way of being in the room or watching online, you get to see it first. So please welcome our new Director of Marketing and Communications, Catherine Stein.
Hi, thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. So we are going to be announcing over the weekend or Monday, depending on when the press pick it up, that we have named a litter of puppies after some of our gold medalists from Team USA. So here we have, this is this is Jessie and Keegan, named after the women's cross-country ski team. They are posed with helmets, or with goggles and their skis, looking very happy about their gold medals. Here they are, the two of them on the podium with their golds. And this is Michaela. She's named after Michaela Schifrin, also posed between her skis, getting ready to go for her run. Here we have two puppies channeling the Shib-Sibs. They are preparing for their Olympic ice dance. And here we have our five puppies from the litter. Kim for Chloe Kim, Michaela for Michaela Schifrin, Jessie and Keegan, which we met just before, and Anderson, named after Jamie Anderson, who's the first woman to get 2 Olympic golds in snowboarding. They're posed in front of the American flag, looking very well trained and regal. So more to come. There'll be more photos going up next week once we release it to the press.
Thank you, Catherine, and to Maria Lazaro and her team up the Puppy Center for all the work you do every day to make these puppies possible. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the home training instructors. I know we had Graham, Andrea, as well as Jim out in the field. Anybody else I'm forgetting, Kathy? I think that's the crew, right? Just for going home and being able to work, that was it, to be able to work with our students in their home environment and provide the same experience that we have here today, but in your home area, which is an excellent program that continues to be supported by Guiding Eyes and allows us to serve individuals who may not necessarily be able to come to campus to have the residential experience. So to thank you to the 3 of them for doing exceptional work on the road to graduate those individuals with guide dogs as well. Finally, I'd like to do something that I don't have an opportunity to do a whole lot, and that is to introduce a very, very special member of our board of directors. This individual has been with Guiding Eyes for a number of years now, is currently a standing member of the board, as well as our investment committee chair. And I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for Kurt Lantroop, a dear friend of Guiding Eyes. Please welcome him to the podium.
Come here. When you sit. Well, first of all, thank you, Tom, and welcome everybody. I'd just like to thank everybody in the public, the guests, the donors, the puppy raisers, the instructors and staff, the whole Guiding Eyes family. This is very emotional for me. I've been a board member for 20 years, but I've been at Guiding Eyes since 1973. So I've had 6 guide dogs. Windsor is my current guide dog. He is 9 years old, and he's worked out wonderfully. I'm excited about the whole graduation process. This is very emotional for me. Thinking about this group of graduates from all walks of life with different challenges and opportunities, and they're going out to share their stories with us before leaving and soar to embrace life's challenges. You know, I had the opportunity already to read their bios, and I can tell you, you're in for an exciting time when they come up and tell you about their stories. But it's quite something to behold. You know, it reminds me, and it's a quote from Helen Keller that I'm sure you've all heard, but I'll repeat it again so you'll hear it again. One can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar, and that soaring is what these graduates, we recognize and honor them for their efforts. See this graduation process as a powerful and emotional experience for all of us. I must tell you that I've seen most of the graduations, but most of them are from home, because sometimes I get all teared up, and it's better for me to cry in private, I can tell you that. As a board member, I'm reminded every month about our mission statement and how we achieve it. And, you know, it's so fulfilling. The fact that Guiding Eyes is fulfilling our expectations and hopes, and we want to thank everyone for all their efforts. You know, a lot has changed since 1973. We didn't have computers back then, by the way. And that's when I got my first guide dog, as I said. And I know Kathy, the director of training, will appreciate this, but you know, back then the dogs were a little different. The training was different. The breeding center, I'm not sure it even existed at the time. And I remember when I got my first guide dog, Flame. You know, normally you know he hurtled into my arms that first day that I met him. And the trainer kept saying, follow him. And I kept thinking to myself, should I follow him or ride him? But it's changed a heck of a lot, hasn't it? I mean, we've honored and we've talked about everybody today, from the Canine Development Center, the puppy raisers, the socializers. It's all an effort to make these dogs the best that they can be for the job chosen. And it reminds me of another quote from Helen Keller. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Boy, is that true in this case, huh? You know, it's better to be lucky than smart. I'm going to explain what I'm talking about, but I really believe in that, actually. It's a personal story, and I'll be very brief, but it's very emotional for me. And it impacted me, and it tells you how much I love this place for good reason. In 1985, I went to my memory yesterday. I called my memory because he does so much for me. I nicknamed him Google. And I called and I looked and I asked Google yesterday and I said, what was that hurricane in 1985 that I walked through with my guide dog? It was Hurricane Gloria on September 27, 1985. It was a Cat 2, 110-mile-an-hour winds out in Long Island, 70 miles in Manhattan. Well, anyway, I woke up that morning and I had to get to work. I was an investment manager at the time for General Motors, and the Federal Reserve was going to be open that day, so I had to be there because my fellow that I was working with lived in Princeton, and he wasn't coming up. So I'll never forget, it was 3/4 of a mile walk. And I walked out of the building. The wind was howling. I heard a garbage can go by me. I was worried about things coming off the roof. And I was also worried about, that expression again about soaring. I was concerned that I was going to soar without my intention. Wondering about flying objects. Anyway, my faithful companion at the time named Curtis never wavered, and he got me safely to the GM building on 59th and 5th. It was a 3/4 mile walk. I walked into the building. I was so happy. Curtis's tail was wagging, and we made it, and I was happy. And all of a sudden, I hear this screeching sound, and it's a good friend of mine, but she's the head of HR for GM at the time. And she said, these are her words as I remember. She says, "Why are you here?" They just closed the building. So here, lucky and the smart. The lucky is, you've probably heard luck is the residue of design and hard work. And boy, does that make sense when you talk about these guide dogs and how they can get you through mayhem. Sorry, Allstate, to get you to where you need to be. And in terms of being smart, yes, I guess I wasn't smart to make that trip, but maybe I was just overconfident. And who can blame me? I just want to thank everybody again, and I want to introduce Kathy Zabrecki, Director of Training, for some remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kurt, and welcome everyone to this very celebratory day. As you may imagine, a celebration of this kind is the result of many. And I'd like to thank a very special group of people who dedicated many months raising a Guiding Eyes puppy to become a guide dog. Would all our puppy raisers please stand up? You are an exceptional group of people who've given up so much of your lives to make a difference in somebody else's life. And I'd like to take a moment to share some thoughts from a recent graduate when he was asked what having a guide dog means to him. Besides being able to flow freely down the street, I'd like to talk about a different aspect of working with a guide dog, the human connection a guide dog brings. People never came up and introduced themselves to me because I had a white cane, but they do so every day just because I'm working with a guide dog. And my world is a much richer place when I interact with people. I'm not trapped inside my own head, but engaged with what's happening around me. My guide dogs have led me across bridges to the public just as surely as they have led me safely down the street. And without you, without our puppy raisers, these bridges would never be built and these connections would never be made. And we are deeply grateful to all of you. Thank you. There is another group of people who have worked hard to make today a reality for so many. Jolene, Louise, Laurel, Woody, and Amy. As always, your dedication, your commitment, and your compassion has been evident throughout this class. Thank you for everything you've done to make these teams so successful. And it's a very special occasion for another reason. There are many milestones in a guide dog instructor's life. And today we celebrate along with Laurel as she has just completed her first class as a guide dog instructor. Congratulations. And Laura, I look forward to sharing many, many graduations with you. And graduates, this is your day. You've worked very hard for this moment. So enjoy it, relish it, delight in it. And take pride in how far you've come. And know that with confidence and faith in yourself and your new guide dog, there is no limit to where you can go. On behalf of the entire Guiding Eyes staff at Yorktown, Patterson, and all our remote staff, congratulations and best wishes for your continued success. And we also are especially honored today as one of our graduates is a veteran. Coach served in the Army Reserve, and the Army National Guard. And Coach, we thank you for your service. And to everyone who supports us in this great work, our most heartfelt thank you, and thank you, and thank you. Please enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Tom, Kurt, and Kathy. Now it is my pleasure to introduce you to our first graduate speaker today, round two, Nicole Yarmulkevich.
Thank you, Jolene. So this is actually my third graduation. Pat happens to be my third guide dog, all from Guiding Eyes, and I honestly would not have it any other way. Before Pat, I had Flash. I got him on July 4th, 2012. Give me one moment, please. He wants to say something as well. He's very vocal. And so Flash, I got him on Independence Day in 2012. And he and I had 5 amazing years together. We completed my bachelor's in psychology, did research and conferences, traveled with Habitat for Humanity, sung at choir concerts, and taught together, and we did so much more. He began and finished my master's in clinical psychology. And in those times, we worked with clients, and Flash was there to hear so many stories that no one should have to hear, let alone face by themselves. On April 14th, 2017, a veterinary ophthalmologist diagnosed Flash with cysts, cataracts, and retinal degeneration. The thing that brought us together was the thing that was tearing us apart. Felt like an honest, cruel twist of fate. Blindness brought us together and apart. The last day he worked was May 13th, my master's graduation, and we walked into the president's arms. And it was a perfect end to our journey together. I thought that maybe I could handle not having a guide dog for a bit, maybe use my cane. I have the skills, I have knowledge, I'm okay with running into walls. But I realized that it just wasn't for me. I didn't feel like myself. I felt alone. I felt like a huge part of my heart had shattered. So I applied to Guiding Eyes as soon as possible. And on January 11th, I got the call that they had a match. And I couldn't believe that that was the truth. I couldn't believe that in less than 3 weeks, I was going to be here in one of the most amazing and loving places I have ever been to. And on February 7th, I got matched with Precious Pat. And that's the best description of him. On the matching day, I sat crying as my classmates and friends cheered and laughed at the names and the excitement, and I just could not believe that I was putting myself through this pain again of having a dog, loving it, caring for it, and then having to retire it suddenly for some reason or another. Because dogs are just like humans. They get sick, they get diseases and disorders, and they pass away. And then, as many trainers from past and future and present held me and told me that it's okay, I realized that there's many reasons as to why I keep doing this to myself, even though in a moment it feels painful and unbearable. I realized that I need a guide dog, not because I can't live without one, but because I want one. It makes me who I am. And with one, I do and accomplish things that I want to accomplish. And not only that, there's an emotional and mental aspect to it, besides the physical of having actually working eyes nearby. These dogs, every single one of them has had so many people touch them, pet them, feed them, put in resources, give love and compassion to. So many people, from puppy raisers to breeding staff to trainers, not just one, but multiple. And that love, that compassion, it stays on them. So when I feel alone, when I used to feel alone with a cane, now I have the chance to pick up the harness again. And with that harness, I get to pick up all that love and I get to take it every single place I go to. And that, to me, that love and compassion that I carry is so much more better than a working pair of eyes. Because that's real, it's there, and it might not be easily seen, but it's just as or more effective. And I find it an honor to be able to walk with that dog and to be able to stand side by side with my classmates and their dogs and watch them grow from day one and for the next 8 to 10 years. I wish that there were enough words in this language or any other language to express how grateful I am to have a third guide dog from Guiding Eyes. But there aren't any, so I'm just gonna say thank you. I'm gonna say thank you for giving me a dog who is just absolutely precious and sweet and vocal and everything, and for letting me know trainers and puppy raisers and the staff again, for letting me know my classmates. I thank every single one of you who attended here and who put any ounce of love into these dogs. So thank you from me, Pat, and guide dog handlers from the past, present, and future. And now I would like to ask to the podium Amy, a friend and a classmate.
I came up because I thought you had to call me. Make sure I don't have these two out, Amy. Slightly right. There you go. Speech is here. Oh, gotta go lower. Got enough room. Yeah. All right, there we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure, really my pleasure to be with you all. Rumor is my first guide dog, and she's just excellent. She's excellent, and I love dogs. From from I just love them because they are so good. And I cannot imagine I can stand here and I am here getting guide dog and Rumor is my match. Just cannot believe it. So I would like to thank everyone for all the hard work you guys done. And especially for Laurel, she's my trainer. And Louise, even though she's not my trainer, I keep want her to be my trainer. And Jolene, she just so friendly. I mean, everything about them is so good. I don't know how to express my happiness and joyfulness. I just want to say thank you for the puppy raisers, especially the ones who raised Rumor, and for the donors, and for the instructors, and for my classmates, and for my family who's so supportive. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy. That's okay. I'm not sure I've heard Amy whisper all month. All right. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Nicole. At this time, I'd like to introduce Maria Lazaro, the Director of Operations at our Patterson campus, to make the presentation to the puppy raisers.
Thank you, Jolene. Start with me. Hello, everyone. Wow. As I look at all these beautiful dogs lying up here, I can honestly say I knew them when they were just a gleam in their daddy's eye. And now seeing them all grown up doing what they're meant to do fills us with so much pride and love for them. So on behalf of the K9 Development Center, I'd like to extend a sincere and heartfelt congratulations to the graduating class of February 2018 and their beautiful guiding eyes. It is It is truly an honor and a privilege to be able to spend this day with you. The journey of a guiding eyes puppy is a long one, and it doesn't happen without all our dedicated staff, donors, brood stud foster families, early socializers, home litter care families, puppy sitters, region coordinators, and helpers. Administrative volunteers both in Yorktown and Patterson, tour leaders, drivers, and ambassadors. And they say it takes a village to raise a child. But finally, I want to say a very special thank you to a very special group of people, our puppy raisers. They take these beautiful little puppies into their homes when they're 8 weeks old. They love them, they nurture them, they train them, they stay up with them when they're sick at night, they play with them, and then they give the ultimate gift. They give them up. And while I say it's the hardest job here, it's also the most rewarding. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It doesn't happen without you people. I also want to take a minute to thank the staff to recognize the staff at the K9 Development Center. This includes our whelping kennel, our breeding kennel, cryogenics and reproduction, our vet staff, our puppy department, and our home socialization department. These people work very hard at giving these puppies the best possible start we can to begin this long journey to becoming a guide dog. So thank you guys. And now for the fun part. I'd like to present a certificate and photo. When I call your name, if you'll have one member of the family come up to accept. First is Jody McCain, Montgomery Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Elton. Jody has raised 14 puppies for us. She could not be here with us today. The Pazel family from Adirondack Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes Elvis. They have raised 13 puppies for us. Congratulations. Becky Briggs from Delmarva, who has raised 5 puppies for us. Saul and Esther Spiegel from Northern Connecticut. This is their first puppy. They are raisers of Guiding Eyes Milton. Congratulations. Haven and Frida Thomas from Catoctin, raiser of Guiding Eyes Nera. They have raised 3 puppies for us. Unfortunately, they couldn't be with us today. The Warnowski family from Erie, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Pat. They have raised 3 puppies for us, but they could not be with us today. Paul Waller, Cleveland West. Jean Dragella, Cleveland West, raiser of 27 puppies. The Newman family, Cleveland West, raiser of 4 puppies. And raisers of Guiding Eyes, Rudy. Thank you. Amazing job, Jean. Thank you very much. Colin Wright and family from Eastern Mass, raisers of Guiding Eyes, Rumor. Colin has raised 4 puppies for Guiding Eyes. Thank you. Debbie Coyle, all the way from Colorado, raiser of 9 puppies for us and raiser of Guiding Eyes Talent. Congratulations. Ms. Monica Conrad from Finger Lakes, has raised 2 puppies for us and raisers of Guiding Eyes Treasure. Donna and Tom Kouth from Delmarva have raised 4 puppies for us, and Diane Pletcher, also from Delmarva, first time, raisers of Guiding Eyes Wendell. Congratulations. Under home training, I want to congratulate Donna Lind from Central New York, who raised Guiding Eyes Finn and also raised 3 puppies for us. Carol Buchanan from Eastern Mass, who has raised 10 puppies, and Colin Kopex from Maine, who's first-time raiser of Guiding Eyes Odette. Steve and Judy Bernard and Abby McCarthy, Northern Connecticut and Montgomery. The Bernards have raised 2 puppies. Abby has raised 4 puppies for Guiding Eyes, raisers of Guiding Eyes Raja. So, we have a saying at the CDC, from small beginnings come great things. And now I'd like to introduce to you future Guiding Eyes, the beautiful Quail and the handsome Quentin. Come on up. These 2 cuties will be available for autographs after graduation in the groom room. And I just want to take a moment to say, if you'd love to volunteer and join our family, we would love to have you. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful place to be every day. Right, guys? Thank you. Thank you, my baby. I love you. Okay, thank you, guys. By the way, they need razors. And we do need brood stud fosters, so please go to the website. We're more than happy to welcome you. And in closing, I just want to tell the graduates, he is your friend, your partner, your defender, your dog. You are his life, his love, his leader. He will be yours faithful and true to the last beat of his heart. You owe it to him to be worthy of such devotion. May God bless you all and keep you safe. Thank you.
Oh, can't wait to see those cuties lying under a couple of chairs up here in a couple of years. Moving on, it's time to present our next graduate speaker, Ken McKenzie.
Good afternoon. As we continue to thank those who have contributed to all these marvelous dogs, I would like you to imagine with me the commands that these wonderful dogs know so well. While my time in front of you, I will use the American Sign Language. Excuse me, one moment. Even for retrains, we forget sometimes. As I speak today, I will be using the American Sign Language motion of thank you, using your hands with your dominant hand, with your fingers near your lips, moving slightly forward and downwards towards the person you are thanking. Now, when you smile, that means you really mean it. However, just be warned, if you make the kissing face, you better really mean that too. So to outline my speech today, I started to try to understand how guiding eyes gestures worked. In my research, I quickly learned that gestures are not as universal as one may think. Culture signals can be either positive or negative. In, in one way, they can even be gender and age sensitive. And they are simple and seen in all life forms as simple as a flower turning its petals up to catch rain, and as modern as us swiping our cell phones today. So we need to stay specific to the gestures we use here at Guiding Eyes, because we don't want to stay overnight as we don't want the history lesson in gestures. So to thank those that have contributed so much, I'd like to appreciate their gestures. First, with the breeding kennel, we'll appreciate how the puppies are given the chance to flourish as puppies. Continuing on to the puppy raisers, giving them the right development in their obedience and distractions. Thank you, breeders and raisers. Third, to the support staff who have been at our side all this time. They have allowed us to be steady. Excuse me, one more minute. They have allowed us to be steady during our time before and after class. Fourth, to the trainers who have allowed us to move forward with more confidence and feeling of freedom. And in this group's opinion, has done much more than instruct dogs and handlers. Thank you, trainers. Fifth, to the dogs at our left, thank you, puppies, for allowing us to have our hup again. Sixth, to our families and friends who have been at a waits, thank you. You will hear "let's go" because these handlers are ready to get busy with our new coworkers who are no more ready to harness up. Seventh, this pivot is especially possible due to the close volunteers and donors of Guiding Eyes. And eighth, and finally, the individuals who I have overlooked. All the students here at JEB are grateful, whether they are the past handlers who laid down the trail in their communities, or the future ones who will stand here tomorrow, and the ones that sit here today. We thank you very much. And to conclude, to those who ask what a dog could do, I leave you with this. As the handler says, to the door of opportunity, to enriching their lives through their physical, mental, social, environmental, emotional, spiritual, professional, and financial realms, we say yes to the opportunity to take a break, to step back, and let it touch today what we will enjoy come tomorrow. Thank you.
Very clever, Ken. If you didn't catch it, there's a lot of commands and cues in there that they use with their dogs. And for our final graduate speaker, I will call Coach Callender.
Good afternoon. I said I wasn't going to cry when I got up here. I have a very heartfelt thank you. Gosh. To all who contributed to our success here. When I first heard the word I had glaucoma, I don't think I realized that I was actually going to go blind one day. And as my eyesight started to get worse, I guess I really wasn't upset because I thought of it that this was my blessing, because I was chosen. And that is how I look at it. To my classmates, I say, because we were chosen, this is also our destiny. I praise the Lord for that every day. Embrace it, as we have been empowered in a new way with our guide dogs. This is my first guide dog, and I was blessed with Wendell. What a wonderful dog. I'm so in love with him already. I can't wait to get home and start a new life with him. I say to my classmates, do not focus on the things that we cannot do, but with determination, concentrate on the things that you can, and then go out and do them. God bless you all, traveling mercies, and Godspeed. Thank you.
All right. Got to get back to my notes here. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Ken. And now, before we talk a little bit more about these graduates and actually present them with their graduation certificates, let's talk again about the fact that this graduation, just realized I can't look at Laurel right now, would not be possible without the amazingly talented and dedicated staff I've had the pleasure to work with the last few months as they prepared these dogs for placement, and the last 3 weeks as they prepared these teams before you. Louise Thompson, Laurel Sheets, Woody Curry, they've put their heart and soul into training these dogs. And the last 3 weeks, you've made class very easy. You've gotten all the instruction that has been necessary, but not without making it a very relaxed and humorous learning environment. I'd be lying if I said that it's been nothing but serious work the last 3 weeks. Giggling would be an understatement, more giggle fits, which I'm hoping we don't go into one right now, but it's possible. There's been several occasions for laughing, giggling, and even crying because they've laughed so hard amongst everyone. I could not possibly forget Amy Sander. She's our class instructor's assistant, my right-hand woman. She helps me keep things running like a well-oiled machine. Frequently, when I ask her to do something, she's like, I already did it. And that's what makes her job so valuable in class. Amy, please stand up for a moment. Thank you. Amy is the face to look for later on for the kennel tour, okay? Now to these teams that sit here before us. The level of commitment, determination, and confidence you've shown during class is exceptional. Class is stressful in and of itself. You've taken 3 weeks away from your normal routine, from your home, from your family, to learn to work with a guide dog. We give you guys a ton of information to learn and keep you moving with incredibly long days of training. And it takes a tremendous group of people to be there for each other and help each other through the difficult times, and also be there to enjoy the good times. You're a special group. You have forged new friendships that will last a lifetime. From your first Rocky trips a couple weeks ago to conquering Manhattan just a couple of days ago, you all leave here with a new level of confidence and independence. So without further ado, we will present to you your graduation certificates. Starting on my left, Dee Granby and Rudy. Andrew Smith and Nira. Tina Reisner and Talent. Ken McKenzie and Elton. And as I sit here, I realize that I've never pointed out that Ken and Tina joined us for only the second 2 weeks as part of our action program instead of the full 3 weeks. Next up is Amy Bishop and Rumor. Nicole Yarmulkevich and Pat. Coach Calendar and Wendell. Carlos Palomino and Treasure. Nicole, or as we know her, Nick Rogers and Elvis. And Jessica Diaz and Milton. Congratulations to you all. And to wrap things up, I'm going to introduce one last speaker, Jennifer Padal, our Chief Development Officer, for some announcements and closing remarks.
Thanks, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to be quick because I know I'm all that's standing between you and the fun that is just on the other side of this. But it is my privilege to thank our graduation sponsors. So first, Tina Chevatone, who sends her best wishes and congratulations to the class. Tina has been volunteering for Guiding Eyes for quite some time, since 2000. She did home socialization. I know these will all resonate with you. You all did quite a bit of this too. Then working as an in-house volunteer and as an ambassador for us in the community. She's currently fostering brood Cheyenne, and one of Cheyenne's pups, Pat, is graduating today. Good, nice. Thank you to Tina. And then our sponsors, Judy, Andrew, and Tyler Isley, honor all Guiding Eyes volunteers today with their gift of sponsorship. Like Tina, Judy is also a Guiding Eyes volunteer, and she began working with us about a year ago and has the coveted job of volunteer puppy massager. So I always say if puppy raiser is the hardest volunteer role we have, well, puppy massager, you know, everybody wants to do that. I'm going to actually quit my job so I can be a volunteer puppy massager up at the CDC. Judy also volunteers in our gift shop at graduations, which is open, and you can all stop in and visit. And then lastly, the Central New York Puppy Raising Region sends their best wishes to all, and special congratulations to Team Finn, wishing Finn and Chelsea many safe and happy adventures together. They also send their thanks to Finn's puppy raisers for all they've done to make this day possible. Chelsea and Finn are one of our home training teams, so they're not here today, but they are well on their way in Pennsylvania. So graduation day, as you know, is a distinct point of pride for all of Guiding Eyes staff. It's our mission. It is literally why we come to work every day. But I hope that it's also a point of pride for every single one of you. Everything that happens here is only possible because of our volunteers and our donors. We have a 10-to-1 ratio. I don't know if you know that, a 10-to-1 ratio of volunteers to staff. So this does not work without all of you. It's my job to make, as the Chief Development Officer, my job to make giving to Guiding Eyes a joyful and rewarding experience for you. And we do that with graduation sponsorship, with puppy naming. We're about to unveil a new puppy wall of fame, puppy paw wall of fame up in the CDC, and many, many other opportunities. So I hope if you haven't found the right opportunity yet, that we can find the right one to engage and grow your relationship with Guiding Eyes. So now I get to do the nuts and bolts, the housekeeping items. So I know many of you here are excited to meet the graduates of who are handling the dogs that you have raised. So I'll just remind you to give them a minute to take the dog out of harness. They did a lot of work to get them to this point, so we won't ruin it now. We'll let them get the dog out of harness before they say hello. And you can go down the hall or anywhere. It doesn't have to be up here. We have our reception up in the dining room at the top of the stairs down the hall. And then, as we mentioned before, podographs with our two adorable pups. If you go all the way down the hall to the grooming salon is on your left. And then last but not least, we will do our tour of the kennels for anybody who wants to do that. And Amy, you want to stand up again and wave so people know to look for you. Amy will do our tour. What time are we going to leave for the tour? We'll make an announcement. So listen for the announcement. That's also at the end of the hall by the double doors. So thanks everyone for coming out today. Congratulations to the graduates and have a great rest of your day.